Okay, hello, this is Bob Jackson. I'm the Educational Liaison with the PRISM project here at Rose-Hulman. I've been doing some informational videos on some Moodle applications, and I'm continuing with this video right here. What I want to show you today is some settings and some things that you can do with authoring your own questions for your assessments, for quizzes, for tests, for final exams, whatever you may be wanting to make up. Okay, what you can do on your courses, you can actually build question banks. Okay, rather than just building questions just for individual quizzes and tests, you can build question banks that you can access multiple times from different quiz activities that you set up, which could be ranging from quizzes to unit tests to final exams. Okay, so once you start making up questions and you put them in question bank on your Moodle course, then you want to start categorizing those questions so you have them organized. Okay, when you first start out, you're not going to have very many, of course, but then through time you can build quite a number of questions, and you need to get them organized. Okay, and you'll have the option each time you make questions to put those questions in a given category, and you want to be sure to do that. Okay, the other thing that you can do is you can import questions to the question bank from some of your own test banks that you've already been using from textbook companies, or like ExamView, or whatever test banks that you use. Okay, and I'll talk that briefly. This video is going to be mainly on authoring the questions, okay, and some of the editing capabilities that you have, in which you can actually pull up questions that you import into your test banks on Moodle. You can open those questions up and you can edit those questions, change the questions, and then add in things like pictures and diagrams, illustrations, and put in URL links, and you can even record an audio version of each of the questions. So you have, if you have students that need tests read to them, you can actually do an audio version of your quiz or test or whichever exam, and the questions are read to the student as they're taking the exam. Okay, and I'm going to show you that and some of the other things you can do. Okay, so let's go here. I'm going to go to my first year chemistry course. You see, if you see a menu that looks like this on your course, then you have that course set up in the Boost theme. Okay, if you don't, then you have a course set up like this, where you see your menus are different. Your navigation menu, your administration menu, and so forth will look like this. Okay, if you have not changed yours to the Boost theme, then you're going to have this setting. Okay, and if you're going to do what I'm doing here and follow along, or make your own questions, at first you want to get to at least your question bank. Okay, so you'll come down on your course in your menus. You're going to come down to the administration block. It's probably on the left side of your page unless you've moved it. If it's docked, then it'll be over here on the side, and you'll click on it to open the administration block, and then you click on question bank, and then you're in it. Okay, and if you it's all according to how extensive of questions you have, how much you're going to see here. Okay, here if you go to this drop down menu is the categories. If you've not made up any questions, you're not going to see much of anything here because you have no categories yet. But these are categories on this course, and it shows you tissues category, tissues, integumentary, so forth. This shows you the number of questions in each of these categories. Okay, and actually subcategories. Okay, because she has a category here. This course belongs to a teacher friend of mine. Okay, of anatomy and physiology. Okay, so now then once you get them set up in categories through time, then you can use them for different assessments, okay, and pull them from. Okay, so we're in the question bank there. I'm gonna go to my course. If you're in a Boost theme, if you have your course in a Boost theme, the way you get to your question banks, come up here to the edit icon, come down to more, and then I'm gonna click on questions down here. Okay, and that'll open up my test bank to where I can start creating more questions and put them into categories. Okay, now then, you can also go to if you create a quiz, okay, on your course, and you go in to edit the quiz, okay, because it has no questions yet, I've just created it here, then I can go to add over here and put my questions in here. I can go individual questions at a time, or I can go to my question bank and add them from the question bank, and that's where you'd be selecting them from. I'd be right back into my question bank again right there, okay, and I could select those questions, add to my quiz, okay, but I want to make new questions, okay, so I'd go add a new question, and that takes me to this screen. Okay, now and I just want to go back to my test bank because that's where I want to work from. Okay, let me get back. Okay, go to my question bank. Okay, now you have multiple ways you can get into the question bank. That's what I was trying to show. Okay, here's questions that have been made up for this particular category. This category is default for general chemistry. There's 54 questions in it. If I do this drop down, I see other questions. Okay, on each one of these, you can look at these questions if you so choose, and you can go in and you can edit these questions. Okay, that's where you can edit any of this information that's in, which would be the question, and then the answers are down here on the lower part. You can go in and edit any questions in your question bank at any time. Okay, now then, but what I'm wanting to show now is actually going in and authoring your own questions. Okay, so I'm going to click on create a new question. Okay, now the questions, I'm going to see all the different types here. I'm not going to go through all of them now because it'll take way too long for what I'm wanting to be short videos. I'll do a short video on each one of these in other videos. Okay, but there's multiple choice, true, false, short answer, numerical. Okay, those are pretty self-explanatory, I think, for most people. Okay, or numerical, they're going to give a numerical answer. Okay, calculated and calculated multiple choice and calculated simple are most of your math teachers and physics teachers, science teachers that do a lot of math and chemistry would really like these, because what you can do on these is when you put the problems in, put variables in for the numbers, and then you have a random numbers generator. So if I make up one question like 2 plus b equals 6, okay, and I have them solved for b, okay, I can put, alright, I said that wrong. Okay, I can put a variable in like 2 plus b equals blank, what I should have said. The b will have a random numbers generator behind it, in which you'll set a range of numbers that can be put in for that variable, so that they get a different answer with different numbers that are put in for the variable. And what happens, to put it simple, is every time a student does an attempt on that particular problem on your quiz or test, a different number will be put in for B. Okay, so they get different answers. Okay, so it's pretty cool. That's on your calculated. Now the one I prefer is a calculated simple. Calculated multiple choice is alright, where you get multiple choice answers there, but they take so long to make up each of the questions if you're authoring your own. So you'd probably only want a very short quiz of making those up, but I think most teachers using this are using calculated sample. Calculated is what first come out of it. You've just got more settings in that and to put in when you're making up the questions. Calculated simple is called calculated simple for a reason. It takes a little bit less time to make those up. Drag and drop to text, drag and drop to markers, drag and drop to image are also some really cool questions. Whereas you can put images in and they can drag labels to the images where you're testing them. And that's where I like for authoring your own questions on Moodle. You're going from memory recall type questions with the multiple choice true false, where it's not pushing the students too much, to the calculated questions and the drag and drop and even the essay questions. You're taking them to a higher level thinking skills, and I really like that about Moodle and the ability to make up those types of questions. Okay, because you're pushing your students more academically. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to go to multiple choice question. Okay, and I'm going to add it. And what I want to do with this video is spend my time on showing you some of the settings and means of editing questions that you can. I'm going to delete this. Okay. Because I'd worked on this beforehand and I want nothing there so I can show you how to do it. Okay, but what I want to do is show you some of these settings and how you can, all the options you have in creating and authoring your own questions. Okay, so with each and every one of the different types of questions, for the most part, up towards the top of the editing page, you're going to have your question. Okay, where you put the question in for your test question. Okay, and then down towards the bottom is where you're going to put in your answers. Okay, now how extensive this is down here will totally depend on the type of question that it is. This is multiple choice, so there has to be editing options for each of the multiple choice answers. Okay, now then, some of the important things to know and do on questions. Okay, like you're going to start out up here where it gives category. It's very important that as you're making up your questions, you start categorizing your questions. Okay, and putting them into categories. Okay, I'm just putting this and then default general chemistry 54. Now the 54 is how many questions are in it currently. Okay, but you can select which category that you want to put your questions in, and it will default to the course that you're on. It's time, because you can actually use the questions in your different courses. They're your question banks. Question name does not appear to students, but it can help you in organizing your questions in your categories. So I'm just going to call this in question 1.1. Okay, and then question text, this box and this HTML box here. Okay, what you want to do, you want to click on this down arrow here to get all your editing options up here as you get started on this, because this is going to show you your full capabilities of all the characters, the fonts, the fact that you can put in URL links, and you can put even tables and illustrations, images, even video clips, and then an audio clip if you so want to read your test to your students and have it recorded. Okay, and I'm going to show you that. Okay, so you want to click this. This is going to open up your menu here. Okay, then I'm going to take and I'm going to type my question here. Okay, and I'm just going to make something up. How many chambers are in a human heart? Okay, now then, that's going to go, I believe that's on the paragraph font. Okay, that's this font here. Okay, if you want to change that font, you can highlight it or you can change it before you start typing, in which you can go from large to small heading, okay, where it's going to be more of a bold print, and pre-formatted, and then paragraph. Most are just going to use paragraph. Okay, so now then, I have that. Now I can start looking at my other options. If I want to do any bold font to boldface any of the words, then I can take and highlight like human, and now that word's going to be bold. Okay, I can italicize, okay, if I so want, any word by doing that. Okay, this is bullets, so if you want to put any bulleted information, when you click these, it's going to put a bullet in. Okay, and then this is going to number. Okay, and then these down here you might want to use, and whether you want to, if you want to center the question, if you want to put it to the left side or to the right side. Okay, just like on any word processing program. Okay, but now then up here you're going to have URL link. Like if I want to take this to a URL, then I'm going to click on the URL link, and then I can copy and paste the link that I want to take it to online. Okay, and then I always like to take it to open a new window, so I keep this tab and it opens in a new window. So you click on that and go create link. Okay, and that's where you can do it with a word, or you can do it with an image, and I'll show you that here in a minute. Okay, here's where you'll unlink. If you're going back in and editing and you decide you want to take a link out, there's where you can do it. Here are some emojis that you can add in if you want to. Okay, which there's quite a selection of them. Okay, if you want to spice things up with them. And then images, and I'm going to show you this one by doing it. Okay, I'm going to put an image into this by going to a file on my computer. I'm going to get a human heart, upload this file, and then I put it in. Now then, you don't want to make it overly too large and blow the page up so much it blows everything out of proportion. So that's where you'll, by practice, you will change the sizes here. I'm going 200 by 113. Okay, and it's just a guess. Okay, and then it's good to type something in there as a description of your image, although the students will not see that. Okay, and then I go save image. Okay, now then, if you don't like the size of it or where it is, you can move it around. Like I'm going to move that down there, and I think I like it a little bit bigger, so I just double click it, and I'm going to go to, let's say, 350. Okay, I want to auto size it, okay, so it stays in proportion like it was, and go save image. Okay, and I like that a little bit better because the students will be able to see it on the exam better. Okay, now let's say I want to take that to a URL link so they can go see something about the human heart when they're doing this question, if you want to. Then you click on it, click on the image, and then click on the URL link, and you can put a URL link in here and take them to a website if you want to. You might put underneath it, type underneath it, click to view or something like that. Okay, so those are options. This is just really neat stuff that you can do. And I got the picture by clicking here. Now if instead of a picture you want to do a video clip, you could have a question like what type of chemical reaction is this, and then have a video clip put in instead of an image. It'd look just like this. It'd just be a video clip, but you'd click on this and put in your URL source or YouTube source to put that image. Okay, or you can actually embed them. Okay, by getting the embed code. Okay, and then this is the neat one here, is if you click on this microphone right here, then you can do a recording of this question for your students. So you click on start recording, okay, and I read how many chambers are in a human heart, stop recording, and then I attach the recording, and here it is. Okay, if they click on this when they do the question, that question is going to be read to them. Okay, it's a pretty neat feature that you can use with your students that have IEPs or what have you. Okay, You can actually video. I don't know many doing that. Most of them do a video clip that they get from a source. You do your video. There's a better way. I don't know that you really want to do the video from here. H5P, that's some gaming things that you can plug in. Okay, now then down here is where, like, this is underlined, strike through, which I don't know people use that much for doing this. Okay, superscript and subscript numbers. So if you're going your numbers, like I would go SO, and I doing chemical formulas, so I could go SO2. Okay, and then I could go 2 minus. Whoop, I didn't do that right. Yeah, I meant to click a superscript on that one. Go shut that one. Go shut that one off and turn that one on. Okay, 2 minus. What still didn't go? There we go. Okay, superscript, subscript. Okay, for all you math teachers, physics teachers, chemistry teachers, great option. Okay, here's your color of fonts. If you want to change color of fonts, like if I wanted human heart in red, there we go. Okay, so I would like more options on the colors. That's the only limiting factor. I don't care for the limit there. Okay, I've already talked those. Okay, here's where some really good stuff for you math, physics, science people. You have an equation editor here, where you're going to be able to find most any of your operators that you use in math. For chemistry folks, here's your arrows for reactions and reversible reactions. Okay, Greek symbols. There's a nice selection of them. I think all of them are there. Okay, and then you have more Greek symbols and some things that you'll use particularly in math classes and like calculus class. Okay, great options for authoring your own questions. Okay, here is some characters. Okay, usually you can find in a quicker way, maybe before you put your quarters and halves and 3/4 your fractions in. Okay, table, you can make tables and put in where you select the number of rows and the number of columns, and then you'll type in the tables to label them. Okay, you can insert them in or below a question. Okay, and then that's the clear formatting if you formatted some things, and I think that's pretty much the options that most teachers would use. This is if you're going to insert some of your own code, and there are some times that you may need to do that for doing some different things. Okay, I've done it, but not too much. Okay, if you click on that, then you're going to see the code on the page, and you can actually, if you know what you're doing, insert your own code. Okay, for you to get done what you want with a question. Okay, so now then, those are some really neat options, and give you some abilities to truly author your own questions for your students and obtain what you want. Okay, so that's a question. That's where you build the question. Now you have those same options, those same editing abilities on your answers and on feedback. You can put images in, you can put illustrations in, you can go to the extent you want. Okay, so when you're making up your answers, you can do the same types of things. Okay, which I'm not going to step all through those. Okay, then you come on down. Okay, this is multiple choice. Okay, it will give you so many choices, but then if 5 choices isn't enough for you, that you want a bit more option than that, you can click here and add more blanks. Okay, for those answers. And then combine feedback. Okay, this is okay. Up here you can give feedback for each answer. Okay, when you're putting your answers in, like you're going to type your answer in like 4. The question was how many chambers are in the human heart. I put 4. You need to put that's going to be 100% right. Whereas these others, like if I put 2 here, it's going to be None. It's going to be wrong. Okay? This will be 100% right. You can give multiple right answers by giving 50% for one and 50% for the other, or what have you. Okay? You can change those. But then you can give feedback for individual answers, which on your quiz activity you decide whether it's going to be deferred feedback or whether it's going to be immediate feedback there, not here. Okay, but I can type great job, correct answer, or whatever you want. Okay, but like I say, you can also put in emoticons, okay, if you want to, and spice it up a bit. Okay, just some neat options. Okay, and you'll have similar options on the other types of questions like true, false, and numerical and calculated, and the other ones. Okay, and then combined feedback. This is just kind of overall feedback that will be just general. If you want for every time they got a correct response, this is going to give your answer is correct. You can change that to what you want, or put an emoticon in, or something like that. Okay, that's up to you, and that's what makes it kind of neat, and offer you to author your own questions and make it your own thing. Okay, and create whatever type of relationship with students on the feedback that they get. Okay, multiple tries. This is where you can put in a penalty for each multiple try. If you give them either unlimited attempts or so many attempts on a quiz activity, then like on this question, I could select that for each and every time to do it, I could select like 33.33% they lose with each attempt. Okay, or I could put it as 0. Okay, in other words, they're going to not get a penalty. Okay, that would be totally up to you. Okay, and then you can throw in hints. All right, you got it wrong, you're giving them a hint as to how they can get it right the next attempt. Okay, that would be up to you. Okay, and then that's pretty much the options that teachers would use on quiz questions. You want to be sure and click on Save Changes. Okay, and then you will see the question appear, okay, in your list down through here. Okay, that's kind of it on authoring of your questions and the editing capabilities that you have. My future videos, I will do some videos on specific types of questions. Okay, I'd like to see some videos from some of you folks. If some of you are doing some really good things, or have things that you think others could learn from, please submit me the URLs to your YouTube videos, and we'll post them on the website. With that, it's a wrap. Please let me have some questions and some feedback. Have a good day.